collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Commander Class Ultra Magnus from the Transformers Studio Series 86 line from Hasbro. I'm really excited for this one. I love Ultra Magnus, and I'm definitely more of a fan of an Ultra Magnus figure that is completely self-contained. I don't need the white Optimus Prime and then put armor on him, so I think this is going to be a really good one. We have the kind of standard plastic-free packaging here with some really nice artwork on the front. This is from the scene towards the middle of the film where they're escaping Autobot City from the Decepticons, and you've got Ultra Magnus in front of the shuttle here, just blasting away. Very cool artwork. Up here, we have the shuttle actually taking off in space with the Transformers the Movie logo. Down here, not really anything going on. Over here, just kind of a close-up of that same Magnus artwork. And then over here, a really close-up of Magnus, and he is 21 in the 86 subline. So over here on the back, we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode, showing you that, of course, you can put other cars on him since he is a car carrier. And he does come with a matrix, which is way too small for him, but we'll get into that. And then, of course, the backdrop included as well. So again, I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Ultra Magnus in the backdrop that comes provided. Of course, it is the same as the front of the box. We have that shuttle scene. Hot Rod and Cup shuttle is already taken off, and then they're trying to get aboard the last shuttle here. So just a really huge backdrop, and he fits really nicely inside. I think it looks really great. Here is Ultra Magnus out of the packaging. He's absolutely fantastic. I don't even know where to begin with how amazing he is. I mean, this honestly feels like a mini masterpiece figure. He looks so good. The color scheme is fantastic. Not a ton of paint applications, honestly. You have the Autobot symbol here on the shoulder. Obviously, the silver of his face is painted. He's got light piping for the blue eyes. There are probably some pieces that are painted that I just don't realize are painted. We'll get into that, like the red here is paint. But everything matches pretty well. Nothing really stands out like different shades of red or blue. I think they did a pretty good job matching everything. He's just fantastic. I mean, honestly, he's got such a commanding presence. This is the definitive Ultra Magnus. I mean, we've had several over the years. The Combiner Wars one wasn't bad, but that was so like IDW stylized, and it had the weird little like mini-con that rode in his chest. I know that was part of the comics. Spoilers, I guess. But this is our definitive G1 86 movie Magnus, and they knocked it out of the park. It's just so good. And like I said, I prefer a Magnus where I don't have to have the white prime in the center, and we got none of that going on here. He is just amazing. I'm just gushing. I'm honestly just in awe of how fantastic this is. Just for fun, for some size comparisons real quick, here is 86 Hot Rod and 86 Cup. I got him with his Target Master partner there. So he's definitely, looming large over everyone. And he just looks fantastic. So I just wanted to show those guys with him real quick. Let's get into articulation. Head sculpt, amazing. Really well done. The funny thing is, these pieces, the antenna, they come separately in the packaging, and you just have to peg them into the side of the head. So if you open this guy up and you're like, why does his head look so weird? Don't panic. Those pieces are in the, paper tissue bag of accessories, so you just pop them into the side, and they're labeled right and left, so you know which way to put them in, which is really nice. But yeah, we got some light piping there, as you can kind of see. Looking fantastic. He can really look up. He can look a little down, but not a ton. Side to side, tilt side to side. Really nice range of motion there. You have a hinge here for the shoulder, pretty much 90 degrees there, which is great. Of course, you have a nice ratchet here, and you can just hear that. I believe there's a bicep swivel. Yeah, we got a bicep swivel under there, 90 degrees in the elbow. The hand has articulated fingers, so the whole wrist can swivel, but then also you have the index finger, which can point out. Now, you can't... Actually, no, there is. Yeah, for a second, I didn't think that was there, but so... He's got kind of a knuckle here on the finger, so if you want to do like he's pointing outward, let's get this going. So he's pointing, attack, something like that. Fantastic. Also, the other fingers all come out as one solid piece, but they also have a knuckle joint. So you have this hinge here, and then they each have one knuckle. So that's really great. I mean, honestly, that really looks good. But he's also got kind of the cutout in the hand, so you can put the accessory in without really having to worry about how the fingers are positioned. And I'll get into his accessories in a minute, but... So that's really cool. Really great articulation on the hands there. Come on, bend back. It's a little difficult to get in there because he's got the box around the hand. So it's a little difficult to get in here and manipulate the fingers, but there we go. Oh, now I'm opening panels I shouldn't be opening. Come on. There we go. So a lot of people have complained that he's a little wider than he needs to be because, you know, the sides of the trailer compress all the way here. And I can definitely see that. After playing with it for a little bit, you kind of don't notice it anymore. But I totally get everyone's complaints. It would be nicer if the arms were a little closer to the body. But like I said, after a while, you really don't. You kind of forget about it. It's not a problem. So I would just say, don't let that dissuade you because you'd be missing out on a great figure. Got a waist swivel here. You have these skirt pieces, which can lift up. He's got this big skirt piece on the back. All of these can lift up so you can get the full range of motion there. This can kind of lift up. Kick really far forward, and it's kind of a soft ratchet. You can kind of hear it there. Kick all the way back, kick out to the side. Great range of motion there. Got a thigh swivel. You have double jointed knees because of the transformation, but the bottom joint is very, very stiff, and it kind of pegs into the leg, so you're really only meant to use the one knee. And then, of course, we have ankle tilt. So you got some nice ankle tilt there. Put him in a wide stance. But yeah, he's just really cool. He's just really fantastic. Great articulation. Looks fantastic. Really clean robot mode. I mean, there's like no kibble here whatsoever. He just looks really quite amazing. Accessory-wise, he does come with the 2 missile pods. These can pop off. And then, of course, these can peg into the side of his shoulders to complete the look. Pop that on there. Very nice. He comes with 2 different guns. So he's got this gun. I don't remember if he used this one. He probably did in some episode. But this is the one I'm kind of more familiar with. And they are done in white and painted this really fun kind of like... It's almost a purplish gray, but very metallic, and it looks fantastic. Have spots for effect pieces. Of course, it comes with a ton of effect pieces, but I'll just pop the guns in here real quick so you can see he can dual wield. And then effect piece-wise, you get... I think these are the same ones that came with like Jetfire or Skylinks or whatever. They use these a lot. But kind of a smoky effect, and then it goes into the like translucent orange. Mine has a little bit of a paint mishap there. But you can pop these on to the end, peg right on there. It does add a decent amount of weight, so that is something to consider. But you can make it work. But it does kind of, you can see, depending on how I have them positioned, the weight will kind of make it move around. Because these things are honestly pretty solid. You also get a couple of smaller ones, so you can kind of do whatever you like. If you want to do something like that, or if you even just want to put the smaller one on here, you have tons of options. So you get all of these effect pieces. I think this one separates into 3, so 7 in total. I mean, that's a ton of effect pieces, but very, very cool. But yeah, honestly, he looks amazing. I love this figure so much. Very, very cool. Now, he does have, like, he can kind of recreate the scene on the planet of Junk where he gets blasted apart. And I'm trying to remember exactly how this happens. Okay, here it is. So inside the legs, you can see he's actually got, like, Combiner Wars pieces here. So you can slide the leg off. It's kind of a pain. Maybe if I press this down. There we go. So you can see it's just like a Combiner Wars socket. So you can pop the leg off if you want to recreate the scene where he gets smashed up good by the sweeps on the planet of junk. And then you can just pop this on. Now remember, to be movie accurate, when you put his legs back on, you have to put them on backwards because the Junkions put the blue on the inside. Go back and watch that scene. But anyway, we'll pop this back on. Like I said, it's honestly, it's kind of a pain. And I'm probably not going to utilize it very much, but I do appreciate that they did it. And the arms can come off in some way as well. I think they slide off from here. Yeah, here we go. Is this hinge in the way? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm pretty sure they slide off right here. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but there's a piece right here. You can see this is meant, like, this part will stay, and this is meant to slide off. And I think this hinge is in the way. Do I need to move this? I don't know. And anyway, that's how that slides off. So you can take the arms off as well. So you can simulate him getting blasted apart. But why would you want to? He looks so good. I want to keep them together. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, probably not something I'll utilize too often. But I do appreciate the fact that they built that in. Oh, I didn't talk about the Matrix. The Matrix is actually really cool. So how this works, when you lift up the blue T section, these pieces will spring open. You can see the springs here. So pop this up. And as you bring this up, they spring open. There's your Matrix. Really nicely painted inside there. Really nicely painted. It's a little difficult to get the Matrix out of here because it's very snugly positioned. There we go. Okay. So you can see all of that metallic paint on the inside of the doors. All in here. Looking fantastic. We'll close this up and then you just push this back down and that clips into place. Holds it in there. Works really well. Here's the problem. The Matrix is ridiculously small for him. I think a lot of the pictures showed him just kind of like putting his one little finger in here to hold it, which you can do. But that's just silly. I appreciate that they put it in here, and I appreciate that they just wanted to reuse the one that came with Earthrise Prime. But it's so tiny, and it just looks ridiculous with him. But I love this whole, like, opening up and being spring-loaded. I think that's so cool. Also, to be movie accurate, you kind of have to, like, put it here and let it float there for a second before he readjusts it and puts it all the way in, which was a scene I never really got as a kid and still don't really get to this day. But there you go. Pop that back in, close these up, and pop that in. So that's really cool. I really appreciate that. I think the whole spring-loaded, I don't usually like spring-loaded things in my toys, but that works really well. And he just looks amazing. All of his accessories are great. The articulation's cool. The fact that they made the arms and legs able to slide off so you could recreate, his death scene. They thought of everything, honestly. I'm just so blown away. Whoop, push that back down. Yeah, he's just a nice, clean, no kibble figure, and I could not be happier. But let's get into his transformation. Alright, transformation is a little complicated, but actually really cool. So we're going to start off by coming around to the back, straightening out the arms, and I've gone ahead and taken off the missile pods. We'll pop them back on at the end. So this panel is going to open up like this, and then this is going to drop down. And you want to make sure there's kind of a little ledge here. You want to make sure that this... Let me zoom in here so you can actually see what I'm doing. This little ledge has to come over that, so just like that. And then it's going to close back up. Come back over here, do the same thing, open this up, swivel this down, rest on top of that ledge, close up, there you go. Now he's got ridiculously long arms. We're going to come here to the top and unhook these red pieces, which kind of help keep the shoulders together. So we will lift them up to about there. Come around to the back, flip this section open like this. I think you can actually put it all the way up. Then we are going to take these two blue sections and kind of open them up just a little bit so that we can grab a hold of this whole section here, which will unpeg, and then this whole section here will flip up over the head. If you want to open up the arms all the way, you can, if that helps just kind of get everything out of the way for you. But you have to make sure this can unhook and lift up, probably to about there for now. Now, I have a lot of trouble with the head, and there's kind of weird ways, like you have to make sure you can get clearance and everything. But I'll show you as we go here. So, going to flip out these sections here, and we're going to start to build the cab of the truck. Alright, so this is going to lift up from the back here. Bring this around. You can kind of flip these smokestacks up to get them out of the way. So you have this panel here, and you kind of have to, like while it's still up, you kind of have to bring it around and past the head. And I apologize because I'm probably going to have to move this around because he's so big, and as he starts to expand out, he gets even bigger. So this has to be kind of up like this. This has these two pegs right here and here, which are going to peg in right there and there. So you want to kind of bring this down. You're going to have to utilize the double hinge to make sure that it lines up, which can be a little difficult to do, but you want to make sure that pegs in nice and securely. So that we have that. Then you can kind of bring this around. This section will flip out. You can flip this back out like this to form the front of the cab. Then you want to start to bring the wheels out. So push them through. And this is where it gets kind of weird. So you kind of have to bring this up over the head and pass it through. And then you can finally, and I apologize, it probably didn't come through too great. But the head is here underneath, and you have this red panel here that you need to get it past. I mean, worst case scenario, you could always take the antenna off, pass it through, and then pop them back on. That's up to you. But of course, this came unpegged while I was doing that. So once that's in, you want to push in these red pieces that we're holding the shoulders in. Bring this around. This is going to peg onto the front, like that. And then this is going to come up and peg onto the sides. Let me adjust the camera here. Sometimes you just have to lay them down. I mean, I just find it easier to just lay them down. So, form the box that is the cab. And there you go. We have our front cab here. Now, let me zoom this out. We're going to fold out these back wheel sections. And then you want to kind of push this piece down and push the head down a little bit, and the head will actually kind of lightly tab in to that back section. And you didn't see any of that. Okay. So this piece here that we had moving around, let me do this. Let me move the camera a little bit. There we go. So let me unpeg this and pop this back through. So this panel that we were dealing with earlier is going to push down and kind of clip into place. And then you can kind of push the head down about as far as it can go. And then when you lift it back up, it'll kind of softly tab into the underneath section of that panel. And so now that's where the head stays. You can pop the whole cab section out. Like, honestly, you can take this whole section off. This lifts up. And you can actually take the whole cab off if you want, which I actually think is kind of cool. But I'm just going to leave it on for now. I mean, if you wanted to take it off because you think it's easier to transform the trailer with it not attached, you could absolutely do that. But I'll leave it on for now. So we have the cab, so we're looking good there. Let me angle this down here, and we'll start getting into the feet. So these sections will just ratchet up like that. Really nice solid ratchet there. And make sure you don't hold on to these because these pieces have to come with it. Now it says to go ahead and peg them together. I find it's easier to do the knees first before you peg them together. So what you have to do is bend this down. So you have to kind of disengage because it's kind of pegged in and it can be very tight. So bring that down like that and then fold it back up. So it'll actually shrink the feet ever so slightly, just so you can see there. Here's the one that we did. Here's the one we still have to do, so it is a little bit shorter. So you're going to bring this down. And I will say it's much easier to transform it than it is to put them back. When you're trying to put them back into robot mode, it's very tight. And then you can see the little connector right here. So we're just going to go ahead and peg those together like so. And then at this point, I'm just going to lay them down. Much easier to lay them down. And then I'm going to position this. We have some stuff to do in here. So these pieces are going to flip. Actually, before we do that, this red section here, and I like to, again, leave these pieces out. The directions don't really ever tell you to move these pieces, but I find it so much easier to just pop them out to the side to manipulate all this stuff. So this little red section here that had kind of like the fake cab headlights, that's going to push down like that. This red section here that has kind of like this shape is going to rotate 180 degrees. And then his belt, waist piece, whatever you want to call it, is going to flip down. And this one can be kind of tight as well, but you want to push this down using the double hinge. There we go. So that's down how that's supposed to be. Now these pieces, again on a double hinge, are going to come and peg in and fill in this spot right here. So there's a little tab slot right there. And so that's going to come around and peg in there and just kind of make a nice flat bed for the trailer. So at this point, you can kind of push these back up. You're going to take the arm like this, and you are going to flip it around. Wait, which way does this flip? Flips like, hold on. Now I'm confusing myself. Yeah, flips like this. This flips around. It wasn't doing it at first, that's why I was like, wait, no, I know how this flips. So this flips like this. The cool thing is these little pieces here, which were kind of meant to be like just filling out that piece of his top shoulder, they actually go down and peg into place to keep that all together. If you want, you can also flip out this little piece. There's a spot to do it later, but if you want to do it now, you can. You're also going to bring this piece around and pop this down like so, and then rotate the whole shoulder 180 degrees like so. So then that's pretty much ready to go. So we'll come around to the other one, flip this out, flip this section around like so, peg these down into place, flip this little panel out to form that full box, and then we're going to rotate. You can kind of see better here the shoulder, so this is how this would slide off if you were trying to have his arm pop off, like we talked about earlier. Now I'll never be able to get this back on. There we go. So rotate this 180 degrees. Okay. We're getting there. We're very close to done. Over here, in these back sections here, this is going to flip up, and then it is going to slide on this little track like that. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Flip up, slide forward on the track. We're finally ready to bring these around. This will come up and snap into place there. It's actually pegging into this little spot right here. So this comes up, snaps into place there. Now we can bring these in. They will peg together. It will peg together here as well. And then they will peg in to these little spots that we slid up. So that will tab in right there. And this one will tab in over here. Let me zoom out. You're going to want to bring the cab forward. And then the last little touch, well, two little touches. The wheels back here, you have to kind of bring out and down slightly. And there's not a great guide for where they're supposed to sit, but if you kind of look at the indented area in here, you can kind of tell where this is supposed to go. You just want to bring it down so that it can actually roll on those wheels. And then you're going to flip up this little panel right there. So that little triangle, and then this whole piece will flip around and cover the last of the waist. So this little triangle flips up, this flips around, and there we go. We have our fully transformed Ultra Magnus. These on mine do not like to stay together, and I don't know if it's because I have something like in the wrong proportion here with the, because these pieces like all accordion so much, but mine does not like to stay together. It's not a huge issue, like it doesn't prevent him from being transformed in this mode, but, oh, you know why? Because I forgot to flip this panel out. I don't think that's going to have a big issue, or I don't think it's going to have a big impact, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't stay together that well on mine. But like I said, it's not a huge problem. Still looks the same and everything. Go ahead and grab our missile pods. Pop those on right here. He looks fantastic, honestly. He rolls really well. I love that you can actually take the cab off. I think that's so cool. So if you wanted to just, I mean, obviously it doesn't turn into the white Optimus Prime, but you can almost pretend if that's something you like to do. I just think that's really neat. And then, of course, pop this back on. It just looks good. It looks really, really good. You get a decent range of motion there with the cab so he can turn and everything like that. Of course, you can still put these ramps down in the back. And if we have, you know, Cup, he can drive up here and fit inside. He's getting stuck on the gun that he has on the side there. Hot Rod. Now, Hot Rod with the wings and everything, he might be a little too wide. But you could definitely put him on top. Bring Cup back down in here. So that's really cool. I would say, honestly, you could probably, depending on how small, you know, if you use Bumblebee or Cliff Jumper or something, probably fit 4. You know, if you put him like really far forward, you could fit another one back here. I think if you use Cup, because he's kind of small, you can bring him kind of all the way up here. Definitely fit another guy back here. So that's awesome. I mean, he's back to being a full-on car carrier. I think that's really cool. With the Siege Magnus, which then got turned into the Kingdom Magnus, the robot mode was fine. The vehicle mode, to me, you know, it did not really look that good. It was kind of weird. It was like the robot mode looked like G1 Magnus, but the vehicle mode looked like God Magnus from Car Robots. So it was kind of a weird hodgepodge there. He definitely couldn't act as a car carrier because, you know, the inside was kind of filled with all the armor bits. And then you had the white cab Optimus Prime, which is okay, you know. But this is the way I definitely prefer Magnus, to just be completely self-contained, be a full-on car carrier, and just be the right size and scale to the other figures in the line. And I love this. I just think they did an absolutely fantastic job, and it looks really, really great. This guy's pretty phenomenal. I don't really have any complaints. I think they did a fantastic job with this. He looks amazing in robot mode. He looks amazing in the trailer mode. Great articulation, great paint applications. I love all of his accessories. I love the little feature where the Matrix, you know, the doors spring open to reveal the Matrix inside. I love the fact that you can take the arms and legs off to recreate his death scene, and when the Junkions put him back together. Transformation is a little difficult, but honestly, you do it a couple times and it's really not that big a deal. Yeah, this guy's great. I mean, if I had to nitpick anything, it's that the trailer section that I showed during the transformation on mine doesn't hold together super tightly. But honestly, it's not a problem. It doesn't ruin the vehicle mode at all. He still looks fantastic. So that's just me if I had to nitpick something. This is a fantastic figure. It feels like a mini masterpiece. It's the definitive Ultra Magnus I've always wanted. Very G1 accurate. Looks like it jumped right out of the movie. And it is completely self-contained. No white Optimus Prime that you have to snap armor onto. I could not be happier with this. So definitely recommend checking this out. I got mine on Big Bad Toy Store. I believe it'll be out soon. Pretty much everywhere. Stores, Hasbro Pulse, Fan Channel, all that kind of stuff. So keep an eye out when you can grab them. Definitely grab them if you're an Ultra Magnus fan. It is an amazing figure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.